We are looking at the Unicorn from XYL, and this is so close to being the perfect CQB blaster. Make sure to watch the whole video as we describe why. And keep in mind, this is under $100. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Now the first thing that needs to happen is we gotta unbox this thing. So let's head on over and have Professor Coney unbox it.
Here's the box. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Oh, box within a box. I love that blue, so that's cool. All right, we got some interesting stuff in here, so let's get it out. All right, we got our instructions. Thankfully, there's actually some English translations as well, so bonus points. Included in the box, this is a 15 dart magazine, but it can hold up to 18 if you squeeze them. We have the front grip, grip insert, lower receiver, upper receiver, 2 Picatinny rails. This is like a top rail charging handle sort of thing, spring, the stock, and 10 of these darts. These are not your standard foam darts. These are more like a styrofoam. We got some extra O-rings, and the fiber optic pieces for the sights are in this bag as well.
Now, when talking about a CQB blaster, we have to first talk about the size. And this blaster right here delivers a great, tight, compact, small size with some serious power. In addition to its size, it's also compatible with the Worker 10 dart magazine. Now, if you want to really take down the profile of this blaster, you can either A, collapse the stock, or B, remove it. Now you have what almost can be described as a spamf. Now we did put a worker scar in here because this blaster does need a scar to be accurate. However, if you're really looking for something even more tight and compact, you can take that off. Now the next point when talking about a good CQB blaster is the overall operation. Now this may vary from person to person. I, however, like to have a nice compact forward pump action priming type of blaster with a decent sized stock. Now some of you would prefer maybe a top prime blaster. I don't think this is the most popular way to run a blaster, but it is an option if that's your playstyle. Now, if you're looking to further reduce the size and profile of this blaster, going top prime is actually a good option, especially if you want to run this as a secondary. Which leads us to its next point of operation. You can run this thing effectively as a primary or secondary, just based on how you set the blaster up. Now, in operation of this blaster, it's also important to understand that this can fit many different scenarios. If you want to play an HVZ, or maybe if you want to go to comp with some high powered performance, this blaster right here has great performance. So let's head on over to the range where Professor Coney is going to chronograph this and check its accuracy.
We're going to test the included spring and barrel. This is with Worker Gen 3 high-end darts. 124, 131, 126, 120, 121. This is the short barrel with the upgraded spring that Out of Dart spells. This is the 1.8. Much heavier prime. 167, 174, 144, 172, 173. This is the long barrel with the 1.8 spring. 184, 189, duplicate 189, duplicate 189, 182, 192, 185.
Now, right out of the package, the Unicorn is for the most part accurate, but it did have a tendency to veer off to a particular spot. That's why we recommend getting a scar for this thing. The scar we have here is a worker scar, and it seems to do the job nicely. Now, when it comes to swapping barrels and swapping springs, the accuracy still stayed pretty consistent under both springs and both barrels. Oh, and for operation, we gotta mention, did you know this thing has slam fire? There is a very important thing to consider when talking about a CQB blaster, and that is its durability. The nature of CQB is you're up close and personal, and there's a high chance that you're either gonna A, bump into a wall or cover, and possibly, and I know this is something that we wish didn't happen, but it just does sometimes, you can run into another player. And that's just the nature of close engagements. So having a blaster that can withstand this is super important. And the Unicorn delivers. This is a nylon body There is actually aluminum parts here and steel. Let's go over some of them. So the main body is made of nylon. The plunger, the barrel, and the stock rods are aluminum. On the inside with the catch, the trigger grouping, all that, it's steel. So we have some very high quality, durable parts, and the overall weight of it's not that bad considering what kind of materials go into this thing. It definitely feels like a finished product. Now time for the pros and cons. We're gonna run down this real quick. My personal pros of this blaster are the build quality. I think this thing is phenomenal. Secondly, the blaster springs can be swapped out very fast within under a minute, and it's toolless. So this is something you could definitely do in between games. And the last point that I really like about this blaster is just the overall customization and options that you have with this. You can do this stock right here, or pull this thing off, and slide this adapter on here, put the key in, and look at that. You can throw an in-strike stock on. Because of location, I like to flip it upside down, and that's actually pretty nice. Super cool. Now for the cons. This blaster has an issue with changing its barrel. The barrel swapping is quite a process, and you're not really gonna do this in between games, so keep that in mind. Now to change the barrel, it's gonna take around 10 to 15 minutes, so keep that in mind. The next con is the overall finishing of the nylon parts. They are sharp, so watch yourself. You can get sliced. And also the screw holes, a few of them needed to be reamed out. So I'm not sure if this is a quality control issue or what, but be mindful because them edges be sharp. And the final con to this blaster that is just super annoying, and I believe there are some fixes out there for it, is every once in a while the barrel pops out.
172, 166. Okay, that's interesting.
And that is very frustrating because when it does, you're going back to, you know, step one in which we talked about it takes 10 to 15 minutes to take it all apart and put it back together. So yeah, and this could happen if the barrel is not secured. Currently we have it glued in here, but if that breaks, then yeah, the barrel's out. You might as well just throw your blaster to the side if you're in the middle of a game because this isn't working. So final thoughts of this blaster. This blaster is under $100, which makes it a very, very good competitor for someone who is looking for something that's very versatile, has a lot of options, can be played at various games from low FPS up to high FPS. You know, if you don't have a lot of good springers, this is probably a good option to start with. I definitely want to put this thing through some local play testing because at our local events, I've seen these on the field a lot and I've got my hands on them a few times and it's always a very positive experience. Now that I have one, we're gonna have some fun. I want to give a special shout out to Out of Darts for sending this blaster in for review. And if you've made it this far in the video, I want to give a special thanks to you. As always, I'm DrFlux. Be safe and happy foam flinging.
Audio sync. 3, 2, 1. God damn it.